Aloha, everyone, and welcome back to the program. You know, it's been a while since we've visited our friends over on the Emerald Isle, so I figured let's go ahead and do it again. But a song that just kind of kills with a smooth groove. You know what I mean? No? Well, you will shortly. As always, I'd appreciate it if you would just go ahead and like, share, comment, subscribe, because it is Van Morrison. And it stoned me.
Half a mile from the county fair, yeah, the rain keeps pouring down. Me and Billy standing there with the silver half a crown. Have a full old fishing rod and the tack on our back. We just stood there getting wet with our backs against the fence. Pull the water. Oh, it don't rain all day, and a storm may chew my soul. Storm be just like Jellyroll, and a storm may, and a storm may chew my soul. Storm be just like going home, and a storm may. As the rain let up and the sun came up, getting dry. Almost let a pickup truck nearly pass us by. Well, we jumped right in and the driver grand dropped us up the road. Yeah, we looked at the swamp and we jumped right in, not to mention Fisher Pole. Oh, the water, oh, the water, oh, the water, let it run all over me. My soul. Storm be just like Jellyroll, and a storm be, and a storm be to my soul. Storm be just like going home, and a storm be. Were getting dry, and we saw the man from across the road with the sunshine in his eyes. Really lived all alone in his own little home in a great big gallon jar. There were bottles too, one for me and you, and he said, there you are. Oh, the water, oh, the water, oh, the water. Getting myself from the mountain stream, and a storm may chew my soul. Alright, storm is just like Jellyroll, and a storm may, and a storm may chew my soul. Alright, storm is just like going home, and a storm may. Jellyroll and a storm, and a storm to our soul. Oh yeah, storm just like going home, and a storm.
There you have it, man. Sir George Ivan Van Morrison was born August 31st, 1945 in Belfast, Northern Ireland, and he becomes the first Sir to be featured on the program. Now, Mick Jagger is a Sir, but it was just part of a Muddy Waters video. Actually, a really cool Muddy Waters video and episode, so go ahead and check that out. Robert Plant and Eric Clapton were both featured on separate episodes, but They've only risen to the rank of commander for some strange reason. You know what's really odd? Brian May of Queen is a sir, so congrats. But Roger Taylor, also of Queen, is just an officer. I'd explain that. Roger must have pissed somebody off. Guessing. And it may be safe to assume that Van Morrison had better access to great music, really, than most of us growing up. His father, George, was a shipyard electrician and actually lived in the city of Detroit. Good on you, George. In the early 1950s. And doing so, he was able to amass one of the largest record collections in Northern Ireland. Way to use your free time well, my friend. And it was from these records that Van was introduced to great artists like Jellyroll Morton, Ray Charles, Muddy Waters, and Leadbelly, Mahalia Jackson, Sonny Terry and Brownie McGee, Solomon Burke, Charlie Parker, Woody Guthrie, Hank Williams, and Jimmy Rogers. And these were, I guess, Van Morrison's early teachers and inspirations, and the artists that really set him on his path and motivated and instructed him throughout his entire career. And Van Morrison's career began in the late 1950s, and he really started making a name for himself in the late 60s when he joined the Belfast R&B band Them. That's THEM for you folks who are spelling at home, which I do recommend. Spelling's a good thing. And while he was a member of that band, he did write and record the song Gloria. Yep, that's the one you're thinking of. And then he soon moved on to a solo career. In 1967, he released Brown Eyed Girl, yet another song you know very well. And Van went ahead and then he followed up those hits with a couple albums. One, Astro Weeks, which came out in 1968. That one, it didn't start off very hot, but then later on sold very well. And of course, now is considered a classic. And then, of course, Moondance in 1970. And it was that album that really made Van Morrison a star. And Van Morrison's music has always really been just a mixture of a lot of the artists that we just named moments ago. Artists from soul and early R&B. Of course, we'll focus more on the B here, right? Jazz and even traditional Celtic music. And oftentimes his songs have been referred to as Celtic soul, which I don't really know exactly what that is, to be honest with you, but I do love that term. I think it's really, really cool, to be honest with you. And as far as the song And It Stoned Me goes, of course, we'll give it the usual worst program on the internet breakdown. Of course, now showing its blues roots, try to say that correctly, the blues roots. The song does have a 4/4 time signature, and it is built around a 16-bar structure that is broken into 2 8-bar phrases. Again, just a lot of standard blues/blues rock structure, if you want to say, I guess, just repeat a word. And now again, that's usually the song doesn't always stick to like an exact AI sort of format, which is good because that makes it human, which makes it, of course, better. I heard an interview, I don't remember where it was, but somebody I forget what it was, like, they took a Van Halen song and actually put it to like an exact click track and made sure every beat was on perfect with everything else. And basically it sounded like, I believe the technical term was shit. Sounded like shit because it didn't sound human. So you'll hear songs like And It Stoned Me that are not exactly perfect on every single note and every single beat. Good as human. Human is imperfect. Sorry, folks. And really throughout his long career, Van Morrison has really just been a hard worker and an artist who has really just chased the muse into areas, I guess, both good and bad, depending on your point of view. He has released albums and songs that were both very popular and confusing to artists and critics alike. He could release one song that was called Colossally Smug and Cosmically Dull, and another that was referred to as Genuinely Holy and Musically Fresh. All right, a little bit of confession here. That was actually in reference to two different albums and not two different songs. They weren't back to back. I just kind of like that dichotomy, that kind of comparison. I thought it was kind of fun. But it does show you the differences in the, again, of Van Morrison chasing the muse wherever it took him. And as Neil Young said in his autobiography, an artist is always in a series of development. And sometimes that'll take you to great places and, well, sometimes not. Either way, it's all part of the journey. And really at the end of it all, whether it was a great album or it's not, whether you liked it or hated it or fell somewhere in between, it's all just Van Morrison. And he hasn't even slowed down as he's gotten older. In a lot of ways, he's just kind of picked it up. Just turning 70 in 2015, he has recorded on average more than an album of the year. And in total, he's recorded more than 50 full-length LPs in a career that has seen him win pretty much every award you can think of. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Songwriter Hall of Fame, Irish Music Hall of Fame. If there's an award for music, Van Morrison has won it. And he's still doing it, man. So that's really, really cool shit, you know? Anyway, that's all I got for you today. I do hope that you dug the tune. As always, like, share, comment, and subscribe. We're still about, 1.5 million people away from making a dime on this shit. Anyway, I just hope you're digging the tunes. See you next time. Y'all take care, all right?